my name is Stephen Hall. I'm the curator of the History of Pharmacy Museum at the University of Arizona College of Pharmacy. Today I'm going to be showing you bizarre, unusual, obscure pieces from our collection. Patent medicines have a really wonderful history dating back to the mid-19th century. This is a time before modern pharmaceutical laws were in place, so drug manufacturers could get away with just about anything. You've probably heard the term snake oil before. Well, that's where these came from. These contained all kinds of unsavory compounds like cocaine, morphine, heroin. One of my favorites here is Hamlin's Wizard Oil, which makes you feel like a wizard, I'm sure, if you drank it, given that it's 65% alcohol. But the names and the nostalgia for this has become a very wonderful part of medico-historical lore. Lots of people know about quack doctors selling these things. And that was a real thing, traveling in covered wagons from state to state, peddling these boozy snake oils. We have here one of our many bottles of poison compounds. This one is mercury bichloride. The common name for it is corrosive sublimate. Now, obviously this is not meant to be taken internally, but it was very useful as an antiseptic. Now, this was one of the earliest safety precautions. So you can see, first of all, the physical manufacture of the glass. It has these bumps and ridges on them and this lovely skull and crossbones with the word poison in big capital letters. The tablets in here are actually in the shape of a three-leaf clover. I've seen other ones that are in the shape of a coffin as well. And these were just all safety regulations to prevent from accidental poisoning. Now, this is my personal favorite piece in the entire museum collection. I have a special love for this. What we have here is a tiny bottle of vitamins, Unicap vitamins from the Upjohn Company. What makes these so special is where they came from. These came from Disneyland. As it happens, in 1955, when Disneyland opened on Main Street, there was a replica pharmacy that was sponsored by the Upjohn Company. If you don't know them, they were a major drug company based in Michigan. They were around from 1886 until 1995, and today they're under the Pfizer umbrella. These little sample vitamin bottles were handed out to kids who came through the store. Given that it was right on Main Street, you couldn't have missed it. You had to walk right by it in order to get to any of the roller coasters. What's really wonderful is that the College of Pharmacy is lucky enough to possess the collection from the Upjohn Pharmacy. So all of the antiques that were on display in that store for 15 years eventually found their way here to Tucson, and they live in the College of Pharmacy today. What we have here is an old prescription for beer. So this is dated August of 1933. So this was in the Prohibition era. And what you maybe didn't learn in history class is that during Prohibition, pharmacies had exemptions, some exemptions to the law. So while bars and taverns were struggling and speakeasies were popping up in their place, drugstores were allowed to dispense alcohol medicinally. Wink, wink. So this one here says, "Dear sirs, the bearer, Mrs. George Greeley, has diabetes, and I believe beer in moderation will be a benefit to her with this condition. Aha. I hereby recommend that it be supplied to her for medical purposes." Right, because if you're an MD, you want to prescribe beer for diabetes, right? You can see this actually went through the Department of the Interior, and I have also the application that the drugstores would use to purchase not more than 15 gallons of intoxicating liquors for other than beverage purposes. They were allowed to get alcohol, whiskey, rum, gin, brandy, wine, you name it. Everything that the bars and taverns couldn't, the drugstores could. And this was in effect for the duration of the Prohibition era. We have here a sampling of cigarettes for asthma. Now just let that sink in. Cigarettes for asthma. I don't know what's weirder, the fact that these existed or the fact that we have multiple brands of them. These were not tobacco cigarettes. In some ways, they were even worse. These contained a compound called belladonna, which is a nightshade plant, highly poisonous, something you really would not want to be smoking. So these cigarettes, of course, are a bizarre idea for treating asthma, but with some mental gymnastics, you can almost draw a parallel to these as the original inhaler. You want to learn about more interesting treasures like this? Check out the History of Pharmacy Museum at the University of Arizona College of Pharmacy.